You hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Michelle. How are
Okay, now I can hear you. Literally, as soon as you went live, my dog started barking, so I
you?
apologize to
No.
anyone who is listening in. Yeah, my dog doesn't want to stay in the room alone, so she may or may not bark.
All right, no problem. I know that that struggle for sure with animals. So. Uh, all right. So I don't know if you want to start off just by telling everyone a little bit about yourself and who you are and
Sure. I sort of feel like I'm in an interview, so I feel a little nervous, but
yeah,
I
no,
will try to
really.
relax. So yeah, my name is Michelle. I have always, actually not always, I guess I should correct myself, since 2006, been interested in working with seniors. So that's sort of where my path started. I grew up in Hamilton, went all the way up to North Bay to do my placement up there in acute inpatient mental health, and then I got a job in Huntsville, and then eventually led me here to London. So I've sort of been moving around a lot in the last couple of years, following my path. And yeah, I love dogs. I love to go hiking. I love to go camping. That's about me.
Nice. Where in Hamilton did you live?
So I grew up in Carlisle,
Oh,
which is like north of Waterdown, if
okay.
anybody knows where it is. And then when I was in my undergrad at McMaster, I bought a house downtown at Wentworth and Barton. So
Okay.
at that time, Barton Street was really up and coming, not a great area. And
Right.
coming from Carlisle, which is a very safe neighborhood where you can leave your doors unlocked, the area that I moved in wasn't so much that way.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I learned my lesson the hard way and got broken into a couple times. But
Oh no.
yeah, I had a great experience, and I really wish that I had actually kept that house. But say
Yeah.
la vie.
Yeah, for sure. I live in Hamilton as well. I know we've chatted a few times about that, and
Yeah.
yeah, Barton Street is definitely like the number one area in Hamilton. A lot of people know pretty well. So
Yeah, but actually, it was really cool to watch the transformation because Barton Street, I advocated to go and for the businesses along Barton Street, and I organized a Barton Street pub crawl one time.
oh
That was
wow,
really fun. James Street was also just coming up, and now it's a really popular area, and so it was awesome to really watch that transformation. So
yeah.
Hamilton's a pretty cool place, and I miss it.
I know the city is working really, really hard at, kind of bringing it back together, and a lot of smaller businesses are trying to, especially James Street, like you said, is really, really
Mhm.
taken up in the last year. So that's awesome. When did you get involved with recreation therapy?
So, as I mentioned, in 2006, I was a living caregiver for an elderly woman, and that sort of transitioned my interest from being a teacher and wanting to work with kids to wanting to work with seniors. At that point, I was in the summer between my first and second year at Brock, and yeah, I partied a little bit too much at that time of my life, so I decided to take a break, and I left Brock and I worked for a few years at Royal Bank. And it was there that I decided that I don't want to work at a bank for the rest of my life. And
Nice.
so I
Yeah.
went back to school at Mac and took health and aging. And so in my first year, I got to do a placement in a long-term care home in the recreation department in Waterdown. And that's where I fell in love with the idea of recreation therapy. So that sort of just led me on the path to where I am today. As I said, I got a bunch of different opportunities to work with different populations. And yeah, so 2006, I guess I could say that's when my interest started.
Nice. I didn't know that McMaster had a health and aging course. I wonder.
Yeah, actually it's gerontology, but that's what I initially went to, but I hate stats. And I'm sure you can, I don't think any recreation therapist loves math. So yeah, I just did the 3 year degree. So
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. I'm
Mhm.
actually going to Brock next week. I don't know how that happened. So super exciting. And I looked at the curriculum, and thankfully, I don't think I have to take any math courses. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
stats. So did you see if you have to have a stats course?
I don't know. Maybe I should look into it further. I hope.
Don't be afraid. I just have always hated math. My dad would attest to that. I've always hated it. So I avoid it like the plague if I can. But if you enjoy it, then all the power to you.
Yeah, no, that's a hard no on that one. Oh man. Okay. Um, I was hoping that you would tell us a little bit about Recreation and Rehab, the business.
Yes. So I guess since I graduated from Mohawk College, which was 2017, I started working full time in a long-term care home, and I really recognized that, unfortunately, because of administrative duties and other duties, we really don't get a lot of time to give quality rec therapy to individuals. I also saw that there was a need in the community with obviously people being isolated, especially now with the pandemic. So I really want to be part of that solution and the success and try to help people that way. And so that is sort of what led me to want to open my own business. But it took me a few years before I actually got the courage to do it. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm still learning. I haven't fully taken on lots of clients. So at this point, I take one step at a time every day, one step at a time.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There definitely is a need for more businesses like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I know that you said that you've worked in a lot of different settings.
Mm-hmm.
What's been your favorite setting that you've been able to work in?
Um, it's hard to say because I really do appreciate all the opportunities that I have had. Even working at the bank, I learned really good customer service skills, and that is something that has taken me through all of these jobs because working with people, regardless of what the job is, you have to be able to talk to people and understand and listen to what they are saying. So that really taught me a lot. But if I had to choose, I guess I would have to pick two, one being my placement up in North Bay. I had an amazing, amazing, amazing placement mentor, and yeah, she taught me a lot. I'm still really close with her. Hi, Heather. And so I was in acute inpatient mental health, and being someone who lives with mental health, I was really scared to take on that experience because most of my experience had only been in long-term care. But yeah, it opened my eyes and I loved it, and I fell in love with working with people with mental health. So
Right.
that would be one, and then the other being working similar with dementia, Alzheimer's, and long-term care and in the community.
Nice, nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I feel like working those part-time jobs or full-time jobs in customer service really kind of give you those extra skills that you might have missed out on if you didn't, right? Teaches you a lot, that's for sure.
Like I have been to job interviews where they say, wow, you've had quite a lot of experience, and my resume sort of tells this story, and so it helps that I started in customer service, I went into healthcare administration, and then went through to rec. So it's all really being able to help me.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You kind of find your way there either way, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. What has been one of the greatest successes or the hardest challenges that you've had with either working in any of those places or, getting to where you are?
Sorry, one second. I just spilled a bunch of water. I just need to
No
get it.
problem. Yeah, no problem. How's everybody doing? Go Badgers.
Oh gosh. At least it's going on my carpet and not on my electronics. This is the day I'm having today.
That's okay. It's almost Friday.
Towels will handle it for now. So my challenges. So yeah, one of my job opportunities was working in schools with high school DE classes, so developmental education, teaching them life skills and getting them out into the workforce. It was an amazing pilot project. I'm so glad that I was part of it, but it was really challenging for me coming from working with seniors to now working with adolescents, as well as when there's already been this like long-standing education system where they have the teachers and they have their EAs, and now TRs are coming in to try to teach them something new. It was kind of challenging trying to advocate, as we are always doing as TRs, to show its benefits. So I'm very glad that I was part of that pilot project. However, it taught me that I don't really want to work with adolescents. So.
Yeah, it's a massive shift, right? A lot of different considerations, especially. Sorry, did you say that the teens were Was it mental
they're in high school, so they were in grade 12 in a developmental education
Oh,
class.
developmental. Okay. Yeah, yeah. So some different considerations for sure, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was a great experience, and I mean, I wouldn't say that I don't want to ever work with them again, but I think that there is a great opportunity to be able to bring TR into school. So if people want to continue to do
Yeah.
that, I think that was through the Ability Center, and I think that they are continuing to do it in the Toronto area. So
Right.
anyone interested in doing that, you can look them up.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm surprised that it hasn't already come into the schools more
Mhm.
commonly, but also not
Yeah.
surprised at the same time.
Mhm.
Like you said, it's a big part of that advocating piece that is going to constantly go on, I think. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, yesterday we have a celebration that we can make that we got, you know, recognized by Doug Ford.
Ah,
So,
so
I
glad
mean,
you
all
brought
the
that up.
education is definitely helping. And so we're going to just keep doing it, and hopefully it continues to make a difference.
Fingers crossed, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Um, I was hoping you might share one of the, or several of the challenges that you might have had to consider when starting up your own program, especially during COVID.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that this is a great opportunity to do it now. Pre-pandemic, people were isolated. Now it's only amplified that. So I think that, if anyone is into doing that, I think, all the power to you. I think this is a great time to do it. Don't be afraid because of COVID. But definitely there has been some challenges for me. Number one being the courage to do it. So I talked about it a lot, and then I didn't follow through because I was scared, or
Okay.
because of money, or because another time is going to be better than now. And so I really wish that I had just kind of bit the bullet 3 years ago when I wanted to do this. However, at the same time, then I wouldn't have had the experiences in the jobs that I had to kind of be able to have the outlook that I do. So, I
Yeah.
mean, just get the courage to even start it as a side hustle. It doesn't have to be your full-time role. I have posted about this, but the second challenge is website design. So if you are good at website design, then this may not be a challenge for you. But for me, even being pretty tech savvy, I had a really hard time with WordPress. And also I found out, in case anybody doesn't know, WordPress.com and WordPress.org are different. And they have the same logo. One is free and one is not so free and doesn't offer the same benefits. So anyway, I have switched over to Squarespace, which is not free, but it's much more user-friendly, and I like my new website better. So
Yeah.
website design is a challenge. Number three would be not really knowing like where to start. So I posted on a lot of TR entrepreneur pages on Facebook and stuff, just saying, where do I start? Am I supposed to have my TRO, which is Therapeutic Recreation Ontario certification? Do I just start, I don't know, marketing myself as someone who can come to your house and do TR? I didn't know where to go. So I'm really thankful that I took a course through the Makers Collective, and they offer a Side Hustle 101 course. And no, they're not paying me to say this. But it really did help. It kind of narrowed down my focus and made me kind of just jump the gun. And that's kind of where I am today, is I'm at one of the steps that I learned in that course. So yeah, I would suggest that you do that. And the other thing is, obviously you still have to have a source of income, or maybe you don't, you're lucky, but it is really hard. You have to kind of dedicate a lot of time into, building the business and building your network and building your brand. And that takes a lot of time. So as I said, I wish I sort of started this 3 years ago, so I could have done that part, and through the years been able to network through there. But it is what it is, and I'm here now, I guess.
Okay, that's really good to know, actually. That's super helpful. What kind of financial challenges did you have with the startup? Was it super expensive to kind of start things up for you, or?
No, it wasn't really. I thought it was going to be, and then I do thank the bank of mom and dad a little bit to help me. But I had to I registered my business. That was in December. And then obviously there's costs with your website. And then if you want to learn stuff, You need to get other certificates or anything like that, so you'll have to pay for that. I really put a focus on getting my designation with TRO, and that was costly because I had to pay for my membership renewal and apply and pay for my registration. So that was like $400 up front, and that's what really held me back for a long time, was paying for that. And so yeah, those are sort of the struggles that I had at this point. But
Wow. Yeah, that's really expensive. I didn't realize it was that high.
yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm gonna bank that one. What was I gonna say? I know that there was a couple of questions actually that people had sent in regarding starting up your business.
Mhm.
I just want to catch it here. Chelsea had asked, what were the first steps to having a private practice? Suggestions or tips on starting one? And then there was another one that was kind of similar along those lines. So any tips or suggestions for people that wanted to?
I mean, everybody's journey is going to be a little bit different, and it depends on what your goals are, and sort of if you already have a client base, or if you're able to, network really well with people in your community and stuff. But excuse me, I think that the first steps really that got me going was just registering my business. Then I felt really official, and even though it was just an email that confirmed that I was registered, I felt, okay, now I have done that part, check mark. Now, like, what can I move on to next? And so obviously the next thing that I said already was that I joined a Makers Collective course. And it was there that they kind of outlined, step one is this, step two is this. And, they really emphasize that you're going to have a lot of mental blocks telling you that you shouldn't do this, that, people are going to think that you're a joke, or that this isn't real, this isn't a real job or whatever. So you kind of have to get over those mental blockers. And my focus right now is really to network. So I appreciate this opportunity to be able to be on here today, because the more we talk about TR and the more that I'm able to kind of get my name out there, the better it's going to be for me in the future. Yeah. Those would be the 3 steps that I would say. And you don't have to go through Makers Collective. There are some courses that are specifically related to TR that I can guide you to if you want to message me.
Yeah. And I think that you said that you were still working at your current job as well right now, right? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So, I was working in long-term care at the beginning of this pandemic, and it really took a negative toll on my mental health, and I made a decision to leave that job. And through a few roller coasters here and there, I landed a private caregiving position. And during my interview, I told them that I was really interested in starting my TR practice, and if I could utilize this opportunity once I was done all the jobs that they needed me to do, that we could do TR, and they were all for that. So it's really been able to give me a lot of practice, I guess you could say. And my client is really, I don't know how to explain it, but he's all for trying it and supporting, what I'm doing right now. So that's been really helpful too.
That's so awesome that you're able to have that support from your past job and your client as well, right?
Yeah.
I know that you had posted about, maybe you can refresh my memory on what kind of challenge you were dealing with trying to navigate the cell phone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the client that I have, he has ALS, and so he is still in early stages. Actually, he's still working, very independent with a lot of stuff. He is a professor, so he needs to use his computer, and he uses his phone and stuff. So it's starting to get difficult for him to be able to carry around his phone case. And so we talked about different ways to be able to hold it, and we kind of tested things out, and they didn't really work. So we ended up using just one of those, it's supposed to be a lanyard, and it goes over the back of your phone, and then we just attach a key ring so he can use his strong hand and a finger to be able to lift it up and take it to wherever he wants to go. So
that's awesome. And the thing that I love most about that is that it's such a simple, strategy to, a big problem for him, right? So,
a lot of times that's what it is. And, I've been able to suggest nosy cups too. I don't know if you know what that is, but Initially when I first started working with him, he was able to drink on his own. Now he can't use his arms, or he tries to save his arm strength for when he needs it for his phone or going to the washroom or working or whatever. So the nosy cups are just a cup where it has sort of a divot in it so that when I go to give him a drink, it doesn't hit his face. It actually like allows it to go over the nose. So there's been different adaptations and things that I've learned actually in long-term care that I've been able to bring to him there. And yeah.
That's awesome. So that experience gets to go with you too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Has COVID changed anything for you as far as like your work schedule goes, or kind of expectations that clients have?
I mean, it definitely did when I was in long-term care. As I said, it negatively affected my mental health, and I made that choice to leave. And again, that was also maybe another push to what I'm doing now. But
Right.
I guess the only big thing is at one point when the restrictions were eased up a little bit, I was able to take my client out for coffee, and he was so excited to be like out in the community, and we took every precaution possible to be able to enjoy it there. But then unfortunately, restrictions changed, and his family wasn't as supportive about him being out in the community just because of the risks and stuff. So unfortunately, we're not able to go out as often as we'd like, but thankfully we don't have the Ministry of Health telling us that we can't go outside at all. So we do go on outings. I do post about that, about going on hikes or to nature spots that he really enjoys doing. So yes, it has affected me. Obviously, I wear a mask and PPE and stuff when I'm providing care and when I'm there. So that's another thing, is I do find with rec especially, you really need to build that rapport with people, and it's really hard when you can't see someone's face or you can't see their facial expressions. And so that has been a bit of a challenge as well, because he didn't know me before a mask. So it's worked. We've been able to get by that, but it's been hard for me.
Yeah, the other thing with masks too is if you have a barrier with, vision or with your hearing. I know, just speaking personally, I have a hearing issue as well, and the masks are just brutal for that understanding, right?
I know. And my client too, he wears a mask when he gets his infusions and the nurses are coming and stuff, and I know that's hard for him because his speech is impacted from ALS, and so wearing a mask just amplifies that and just makes it worse for him. So
yeah, those frustrating.
I mean, we're going to continue to wear masks, obviously, to protect everyone, but hopefully this is over soon.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I remember saying this last year. This is fine. Like, it'll be a couple months. We'll do what we have to do. And here we are a year later, still talking about the same things. And
I know.
I cannot believe that it's been this long. And I just have so much respect for my team and for for you and for everyone on here that's worked through this. And I'm so glad that recreation therapy is getting the advocacy that it deserves, especially by Mr. Ford this week. And
it's been hard for sure to persevere. Like I had a moment when I left my job, like, oh, am I even making the right choice? Like, should I just change my career altogether? But I can't do that. This is my passion and I love it. And yeah, it's been definitely hard, but I think we're all in it together some way or another. So we'll get through it eventually.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Is there anything else that you wanted to add, or any specific topics?
No. I gradually got more comfortable talking, so this is good practice for me.
I'm so glad. It was
I'll
so great.
Whenever now, without my dog and without water beside me, because apparently I cannot handle that.
Pets and water, noted. I love that. That's great. Well, thank you so much for joining with us, Michelle. And if anybody watching does want to reach out, her information is listed on my page. And now you've met the face behind the genius. So.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And yeah, reach out anytime if you have any questions.
Absolutely, Michelle. Have a great day.
Beautiful sunny day.
Bye.
Bye.